Hi, everybody, and welcome to a special episode of Andrew Discusses, the video series where I basically talk about stuff for the hell of it. I'm still working on an intro, okay? Anywho, today's a very special episode. Why? It's not my 30th. I actually double-checked the playlist, and I forgot that I threw in my trailer for my channel on every single playlist I have. So that bumped me up a video. Yay! Stupidity! Hey, I'm not perfect. If I was, I would be able to tell winning lottery numbers, and I would be rich beyond my wildest dreams. Then again, if I had the answer to every single question in the world, I would just sit upon a mountaintop and just charge $5 an answer. Anywho, today's video is a special one because with the current social situation that's going on, I thought I would come out with a really cool discussion video. So I know our lives have been completely upended by this, and yes, we're all in this together, just 6 feet apart because of social distancing, because this is a social situation. And this is pretty much going to become the new norm for, well, ever, basically. I really hate to say it, but it's true. This is going to become the new norm. And what I was thinking of is that this actually isn't as bad as a lot of us are treating it. Now, before I go any further in this, no, I'm not saying that this whole thing is being massively blown out of proportion. God, no, I'm not saying that. I'm going mostly on the whole social distancing. Everybody's feeling like their lives have been completely upended because they can't do this or that anymore. They have to do a lot of stuff virtually. Technically, that's where I'm going with this. Is that so much of our lives have already been online to begin with. I mean, we watch TV online, we communicate online, we gather online. Technically, the only thing we really used our physical bodies for and physically went somewhere for was to pretty much buy food and, well, other social activities. But even a majority of those can probably be done online. Now, I know what you're saying, Andrew, what are you getting at here? Well, here's the thing. A majority of what we do in the world can be done online. I mean, you can work from home with, the internet by logging on to your office and going through that whole thing. You can have virtual phone calls. You can do this and that. So businesses shouldn't really be totally affected. Now, granted, yes, physical businesses where you have to stock shelves and that, yeah, that can be affected. But those would be a, very simple breed of, yeah, they still have to exist, so that would still be a physical job. Also, distribution and shipping, so there is that. Though, give me enough time, I invent a teleporter, I'll put Amazon, UPS, never mind. Well, no, Amazon, they have their own delivery system. I'll put Amazon, UPS, FedEx, and the mail system completely out of business. No, seriously, I just invent a teleporter, I get it to work, and, yeah, that'll be the end of them. I'll pretty much I'll have them all. Instant delivery, you cannot beat that. But yeah, so basically, stuff like that we can already do from home. And technically, I mean, you can print out shipping labels unless you're not 100% accurate with your shipping weight, which technically not a lot of us are. I mean, I don't have a scale that's an exact, tuned one to, an ounce or something, so that does make a difference. Granted, I could get one, but still. On top of that, you do have certain things that you can and can't do online, but a majority of our stuff we can. I mean, streaming services like Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, Crunchyroll, stuff like that, they provide you entertainment. Not to mention most of the, networks already have their own streaming services to begin with, like CBS All Access, ABC, NBC, USA, TNT, A&E, AMC, what the hell is it now? Freeform, Paramount. All of them have technically their own, their own streaming services, and a lot of places and a lot of streaming devices have an app that can access 90% of them. So you really don't need to worry about having that coming to you, so you can easily get 90% of that, so you don't have to have TV anymore. But that defeats the purpose. But still, with all of that, you still have that coming to you, and that proves that the internet is a more viable idea for everyday life. I mean, we can learn from at home. You can be taught from school at home. I remember years ago, PBS basically, well, no, well, yeah, WHYY for where I live, but PBS basically had a program on where they did homework help. And what it basically was you say, what your school is, what your grade is, and they would help you. Now, granted, they never did any of the ones around with me, but then again, if I was a really intelligent person, I would have been able to figure it out on my goddamn own and not have to call homework help and make an ass out of myself on public access. Yeah, seriously, asking for help's not a bad thing from time to time. But you can learn from at home now. I mean, a lot of schools do cyber schooling, and that is a humongous thing. I mean, there are teaching positions that you can get teaching online and being an online teacher. So that really defeats the purpose of having to have a school building and a classroom. So that's a good 90% of free space that's now opened up for extra homes, extra, like cyber businesses and things like that. A majority of our stuff can be ordered online, including but not limited to groceries, specialty items, and a whole bunch of other stuff can all be ordered online via eBay, Amazon, and your local grocery stores, Walmart, Target, and some of them, even Amazon. So that defeats the purpose of going to the grocery store. Just have the grocery store deliver it to you. Or just go and pick it up curbside. It's the same thing. And you can even get meals delivered to you with Grubhub and Uber Eats and things like that. So you really are defeating the purpose of ever leaving your home. And the sad part is, this is nature. I constantly remember an episode of Dilbert when Dogbert made a comment when they were trying to get there was a dry cleaner by the name of Acorn. And Dilbert and Dogbert were trying to get them to basically sell the name to them, and they refused to do it. Dogbert said, well, just wait a little bit, nature will take its course. And then Dogbert basically revealed that he is part of nature, and he took its course by basically causing all the vibrating chairs a couple stores down to basically vibrate uncontrollably, and they pretty much destroyed the whole thing. So that was, yeah, that was an interesting. Dogbert's pretty. Okay, Dogbert's scary as hell. But still, nature will eventually take its course, and this proves that we can actually survive in a cyber society. I've said it constantly, especially after I went to the movies last year. I spent a whopping $30 to sit in a Barca lounger that vibrated my ass, massaged it, and basically made it nice and warm and blew smoke up it for $30. That was fun. And basically went to the movies. We don't really need to have movies because you can have streaming services, like especially now because Disney Plus and a lot of other ones are streaming the movies that would have been in theaters now. They're streaming them up there where you can basically watch them, and it's the same concept. That could become the new norm, but what do you do with movie theaters? They would still exist. You could use them for sporting events or concerts after everything's said and done. And technically, it could still work. I mean, with seats inside for every single person and separate booths to separate them so that there's walls on either side, it would be pretty cool. You just have your own experience with the concert, and then you can get up and leave whenever you want. So it's actually not a bad idea. That being said, though, then there's also the downsides of everything, and there are a lot of those. Mostly, and I really hate saying it this way, but you wouldn't get to interact with many people. Yeah, but for that, you have social networking. I mean, if somebody were to create a social media site that was like Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook all together, and literally put that up on the net, where you could interact with people at the same time by FaceTiming them or having a virtual you and interact with them, doing the same things, watching the same events, and just living out a virtual life inside, like a whole little meeting spot where you can hang out with friends, that would pretty much be the same thing as hanging out in real life. I know it's stretching the concept a bit, but still, it is what it is. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to make people see that there is a brighter side to everything in the world. As far as sporting events, which would be the only other issue we would have, those can be done virtually. And that's the thing that I've really started to enjoy, is that there have been some virtual sporting events that have happened. I mean, esports is a humongously untapped potential right there. But besides that, you have so many other aspects. I mean, NASCAR did an electronic e-race via computers, and that proves one thing, that you actually would need skill, which would be one great addition to the race, which is pretty much heavily lacked upon. And honestly, would probably bring in more views because people could watch it online. So that's an idea. But then again, it's, just stuff I'm throwing out there. I know it's a lot. I know it's hard for everybody to basically deal with what's going on right now, and it's just overwhelming from time to time with how much stuff is happening. You don't know what's going on around you. You're not sure what to do. Everything just seems to be going crazy all the time, and you're terrified. I get that. But at the end of the day, we're all still here together, and even if this becomes a new norm, we've been making preparations for this. We just haven't realized it. I mean, Facebook and Twitter have evolved to basically be this social gathering spot where we can, hang out with our friends online for a few hours a day if we wanted to. We can set up our own little room, our own groups, and, shoot the shit with each other. And all we'd have to do is figure out a way to improve that in real time, improve our internet connections, and we would honestly be very well off with each other. It's just a matter of time until we get to that point, but I think we're almost there. But then again, sometimes necessity is the mother of all inventions, and eventually something's going to happen that we'll need to have some type of virtual meeting spot, an online locator for everything, and we'll get that. I don't know when or how, but it's possible. But let me know what you think in the comments. Let's get a discussion going. Do you think the future of the world is going to be online only, where we won't really be leaving our homes for much of anything anymore and everything will just be done online? Or do you think that we'll go back to the way things used to be? I'm curious what you have to think in the comments. And until next time, I'm Andrew Rhodes, and this has been Andrew Discusses.